So now that we have our first screen done, now we want to make sure that when we hit get started, we want to go to the login page. Let's go back, before we forget, let's go back to our main here and get our button. So in this case here, I'm going to go ahead and say private button, get started button, like that. Let's go and import that. So let's say get started button, find by r.id.get started, or start button. There we go. That's what we call it. Very good. So I'm going to say get started button, that's set on click listener, new on click listener as such, and life is good. So this is where we go to login activity. Let's go ahead and create our login activity. So back to our app here project. Inside here, I'm going to right click, say new activity. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just use another empty activity. Call this login activity as such. Everything is good. And voila. Okay, let's get rid of main activity and get rid of that as well. Very good. So now that we have this, let's set things up. So what are we going to do here for our login activity? Let's go to our login activity XML. Again, I'm going to get rid of all of this because I want to make sure that this is linear layout. It's a very simple layout here. So with a linear layout, it's going to probably be more useful as opposed to having constraints. So I'm going to say linear layout is that. Looks like I'm going to get rid of this. So again, I'm going to make this gravity to be center because I want all of this, to be in the middle of the screen. And I want the orientation to be vertical. Very good. So inside, now we are going to be able to add all sort of things. And while we're here, I'm going to say padding, general padding of about 16 dp like this. So inside here, we're going to design our login. Well, first of all, I'm going to add a progress bar here because we're going to use this progress bar for when users click login. We want to invoke this progress bar. That way users know that something is working, something is happening in the back end. All right, so I'm going to make this wrap content. You can see there it is. I'm going to give it an ID, login progress, and I'm going to give a style of Android attribute like that. I'm going to say progress bar style. I want it to be large. Okay, so what are we doing here? We want it to be bigger by using this style that comes from Android namespace. Okay, this is how you do it. There we go. We could have left it smaller. That's totally fine, but this is much better. Of course, we don't want our progress bar to show up the moment we are on the page. We want this to show up the moment we hit login. So I'm going to hide it from our view. So I'm going to say visibility. For now, I'm going to just make it gone. Okay, so you can't really see there. So once we have our progress bar at the bottom here, that's where we are going to add another linear layout. Say match parent, wrap content as such. Now this linear layout here, I'm gonna give it orientation. It's gonna be vertical. Now let's give an ID just because we can. I'm gonna say email underscore login form as such. All right, so what we're going to do now here, notice it's right there. This is where we're going to add our forms. So I'm going to add and edit text here. But the other thing we can add is what we call the autocomplete text view. So the autocomplete text view allows users, if they are on their phone and they hit this edit text here, which is an autocomplete text view, it will go ahead and help them autocomplete certain things. Like for instance, if they want to add their username or email, then the system, the Android operating system, will then serve them with an autocomplete text. So that's a very handy one. So I'm going to say autocomplete text like that. And I'm going to make this match and wrap. Okay, there it is. You can see there it is. You can see there it is. Very nice, looking good. I'm going to give an ID. This is going to be called this email. Okay, I'm going to give it a hint. Hint is going to be something that says email hint like that. Let's go ahead and create that. And let's specify the input type. We want this input type to be text email address. Very cool. And I want max line to be just one. Okay, we don't want to have multiple lines there. Very good. So you can see there it is. Perhaps make this a little bigger. You can see. Very good. So next, I'm going to go ahead and just use a complete edit text. because this one's just going to be for passwords. And for passwords, we don't need autocomplete at this point. Okay, so I'm going to say wrap and wrap content as such. You can see there it is. And I'm going to give an ID. Call this just password. Give hint, password, hint. Let's create here, says password. There we go. And say input type, it's going to be password. Also want to make sure these max lines here is just going to be 1. Okay, very good. So both of them are there, looking very good. And just to separate a little bit, I'm going to give a margin top of about 16 dp. Okay, that looks much better. So there's some space there. All right, and then at the bottom here, I'm going to add a button, say button, match and wrap. There it is. Give ID. I'm going to say email sign in button like that. Text color, I'm going to just give our color accent. Of course, we're going to give a text string like this, and we're going to name this login text. There we go. And we want to make background transparent like this, so we get rid of that hideous color again. And I'm going to give a margin top of about 16 dp as well. I'm going to say text style, I'm going to make it bold. Okay, that looks good. And then I'm going to add another text view here. That's just going to be something that says or. Say wrap content, just give a text that says or, text like that. There it is, very small. Give a text size, well, perhaps bold. Let's go text size there, about 18 sp. Now I want this to be in the middle horizontally, so I'm going to say gravity, center, horizontal. There we go. And then I'm going to add another button here. So it's going to be pretty much the same as this. I'm just going to copy that and put below here. Very good. So you're welcome to fast forward all of this if you wish to do so, but I enjoy doing these things anyway, and I want you all to also enjoy it too. So in this case here, this is going to be create account button like this. Very good. Text color is good. The text is going to be create text create account. All right, so very good. So now we have our login here. Let's go ahead and connect it to with our main activity here, because we have this set up already. I'm going to go ahead and say start activity, new intent. I'm going to pass where we're coming from, which is here, main activity, this, and we're going to our login activity.class like that. Okay, just so that we see things actually working. Let's go ahead and check it out. There we go. Get started. Voila. It's looking real good. So click there. Notice because this type is email here, we can say me at, there's that at there, me.com, and password is going to be a password so you can actually see anything. Okay. Can log in or create account. Very good. So I don't like this spacing here. That's a little bit too much. Let's see, create account. Maybe I don't need this. Let's see. Yeah, that's much better. Take a quick look. There we go. I like that much better. Very good. So we're making good progress here. We're not focusing on the user interface as in making things prettier, making things more beautiful, but we'll do that next time. So we're just putting together the basics of our user interface here. Soon we're going to be able to log in and create account. That's what we're going to be doing in the next videos. All right. I'll see you next.